Hi, and welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read during the Booktubeathon. So, the Booktubeathon was kind of a fail for me. I didn't really get a lot of reading done, and there's a couple reasons for that. One is just because I get lazy, and the second is during the summer I find that I don't really read a lot. I kind of just chill and watch Netflix and do other things. I planned to do more reading than I ended up doing, but I didn't end up reading 4 books, so I didn't completely fail. So now I'm going to talk about the books that I did read during the Booktubeathon. The first book that I read is My Life with the Walter Boys by Ali Novak, and this is the story of a girl named Jackie, and she is used to a life filled with perfection until her family gets into a car accident and they all die, and Jackie is sent to live with a family friend in Colorado. And this family friend has 12 boys, so Jackie kind of has to throw her ideas of perfection out the window as she learns to live with a family full of boys, and she learns that perfection isn't always possible. And I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a very good contemporary. It had a really good blend of cutesiness and emotional depth, which I really liked. The only thing that I was not a huge fan of in this book was that the ending was very abrupt. As I said, I think in my day 1 update, the story kind of finished on the last page, and I would have liked to have seen more closure, but overall I did really enjoy this, and I ended up giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next that I read during Booktubeathon, I actually started and completed a series, which was one of the hardest challenges, and that is the Grisha Trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. And this series consists of the first book, Shadow and Bone, the second book, Siege and Storm, and the third book, Ruin and Rising. So first in the series is Shadow and Bone. This is a high fantasy series kind of set in an alternate reality Russia, and it's the story of a girl named Alina. And ever since she was younger, she's been an orphan, and she's relied on her best friend Mal until something happens and Alina realizes that she is a Grisha. And in this land, Grisha are people that kind of have magical powers, and Alina has a special kind of power, and she kind of has to learn to deal with this. Now, I did read this book back last June for the first time, and I loved it. However, I didn't really enjoy it as much the second time around. I started it a month ago. I just felt like I couldn't really get into it. I did end up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars, though. It is a very good fantasy. Next, I read the second book in the series, which is Siege and Storm, and this was actually my favorite book of the series, which never happens. I usually do not like second books at all, but I thought that this book was amazing. It was filled with so much action and emotional depth, and I was hooked from start to finish. I finished this in a little over a day, and part of the reason that I loved this book so much was that we got introduced to a new character, and his name is Sturmhond, and I just love him to death. He is definitely my favorite character in the series. He's just so witty and sarcastic, and I love him so much, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It was such an amazing second book. And the last book that I read for Booktubeathon is Ruin and Rising. This is the last book in the Grisha Trilogy. And I hate to say this, but I was not a huge fan of this book. I don't know. When this book first came out, I was hearing amazing things about it. Every single person that I read was like, love this. Perfect conclusion. One of the best conclusions to a trilogy ever. One of my closest friends, Lexi, actually read it, and she messaged me on Facebook at like 1 in the morning, like crying over how much she loved this book. And I guess I was just expecting more. I only got emotional one time during this book, and the ending was really sad. I was just not very satisfied with how the trilogy ended. It was a good conclusion, I would say. It wrapped up nicely. I was just not a big fan of what happened, so I ended up giving this book only 3 out of 5 stars. I was just not in love with this. So my total page count for the Booktubeathon was 1,410 pages, which isn't too shabby, and I finished the challenges of starting and completing a series, reading a book that someone else recommended to you, and reading a book with red on the cover. So hopefully you guys did better in Booktubeathon than I did. Let me know in the comments below if you read anything good or which challenges you completed. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.